Messi, Messi.
Right now, millions celebrate a footballing god, a quiet genius who conquered the world, and Lionel Messi, the man behind the magic, is at the center of it all. Welcome to Luxe Legends, where fame, fortune, and controversy collide. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on Messi's full, untold story. And what you're about to hear will change how you see the greatest footballer of all time forever. The big reveal. Lionel Messi's story doesn't begin with roaring crowds and golden trophies. It begins in a modest home in Rosario, Argentina, a city far from the bright lights of Europe, far from the stadiums packed with adoring fans. It begins with a tiny boy, nicknamed La Pulga, the flea, smaller than all the other kids, but with a ball seemingly glued to his feet. He wasn't loud or flashy. He was incredibly shy, reserved, almost invisible off the pitch. But when he played, even on the dusty, uneven pitches of his neighborhood, the world watched, even if the world didn't know it yet. Deep dive. Long before he was a global icon, before he lifted countless trophies, before he redefined football, Lionel was just another kid in a working-class neighborhood. His father, Jorge, worked in a steel factory. His mother, Celia, cleaned houses to make ends meet. Money was always tight, often scarce. But football was everywhere in Rosario, woven into the fabric of daily life. Lionel lived and breathed it, from dawn till dusk. He'd spend countless hours kicking a tattered ball against walls, tirelessly perfecting a touch that already, even then, seemed magical. He played with a joy and intensity that belied his small stature. His grandmother, Celia, was his fiercest advocate, his loudest champion. She saw a spark, a unique talent in the quiet boy, even when others overlooked him because of his size. She insisted he be allowed to play with older kids, against tougher competition. And every single time he scored a goal, Lionel would look up and point to the sky. A heartfelt tribute to her, a sacred tradition he continues to this day, honoring the woman who first truly believed in him. Then, at just 10 years old, a devastating diagnosis struck: growth hormone deficiency. His young body wasn't producing enough hormones to grow normally. Without incredibly expensive daily injections, a regimen of growth hormones that would cost hundreds of dollars a month, he might never reach full height, let alone the physical stature required to become a professional footballer. The treatment was an impossible sum for his humble family to bear. Local clubs, even prestigious ones like River Plate, expressed interest in his undeniable talent, but none, not a single one, could commit to covering his extensive medical bills. It was a silent, terrifying battle he fought every single day, injecting himself, hoping for growth, while the clock ticked on his burgeoning career. But then, 8,000 miles away, across the Atlantic Ocean, a glimmer of hope appeared. In September 2000, at the tender age of 13, a trial with FC Barcelona was arranged. Carlos Rexach, Barcelona's esteemed sporting director, watched him play for mere minutes. And in a moment forever etched into footballing legend, with no official paper immediately available, he famously drew up a makeshift contract on a napkin. Barcelona, recognizing his generational talent, would not only sign him but also, crucially, pay for his entire growth hormone treatment. It was a lifeline. But this incredible opportunity, this dream came true, came with an equally heart-wrenching sacrifice. Lionel had to move to Spain, alone with his father at first, leaving his beloved mother and younger siblings behind in Argentina. Imagine a shy, introverted 13-year-old boy in an unfamiliar city like Barcelona with a different language, a foreign culture, no friends, and the stark reality of injecting himself with a needle in his leg every single night. Most kids would break under such immense pressure and loneliness. Messi, with an almost unbelievable inner strength, adapted. He joined La Masia, Barcelona's world-renowned youth academy, a crucible of talent. Other kids, older and more confident, often teased him for his quiet nature, his small stature, his unplaceable Rosario accent. They cruelly called him the mute because he rarely spoke. often preferring to observe. But when he stepped onto the pitch, with a ball at his feet, he spoke a universal language no one could deny. He moved with an ethereal grace. He glided past defenders as if they weren't there, scored impossible goals, and soon, the dismissive nicknames changed from the Flea to the Messiah by those who witnessed his magic. While his future rivals focused on building formidable muscle and cultivating a marketable image, Messi, with unwavering focus, concentrated only on the ball, on the game. His dedication was legendary, bordering on obsession. He wasn't loud, he didn't demand attention, he simply worked. Harder than anyone. He proved time and again that sometimes the greatest strength, the most profound impact, is found in quiet, relentless obsession, in letting your actions speak for themselves. His humility was as striking as his genius. By 17, he made his highly anticipated first-team debut for Barcelona. By 21, he was already a Ballon d'Or winner, crowned the best player on the planet. He led Barcelona through an era of unprecedented dominance, a golden age for the club, breaking record after record, winning trophy after trophy. He was simply untouchable. He made the extraordinary look effortlessly routine. For years, despite his stratospheric club success, a persistent shadow loomed over his international career with Argentina. A football-mad nation, desperate for glory, demanded a World Cup. They saw him as a shy, Spanish-influenced prodigy who, despite his genius at Barcelona, seemed unable to replicate that magic for the national team. The passionate, often brutal Argentine critics called him emotionless, a choker in big games, even a fraud for not delivering the ultimate prize. He suffered the bitter heartbreak of losing the 2014 World Cup final. He lost the Copa America finals in 2015 and 2016, a gut-wrenching double blow. After the 2016 loss, the emotional pain, the weight of the nation's burden, was simply too much to bear. He publicly announced his retirement from international football. The nation erupted in disbelief and despair. Millions, from presidents to street vendors, begged him to return, realizing the irreplaceable void he would leave. And after just 2 agonizing months, he did, answering the call of his homeland. Then came the infamous tax fraud case, a highly public scandal that unfairly painted him and his father as criminals, even though Messi himself claimed to know nothing of his complex financial dealings. He was found guilty, but ultimately avoided prison due to Spanish law regarding first-time, non-violent offenses. The rivalry with Cristiano Ronaldo defined an entire era of football. 2 colossal titans, opposed in style and personality, yet constantly pushing each other to achieve seemingly impossible heights. Ronaldo, the sculpted, powerful, goal-scoring machine, a testament to raw power and ambition. Messi, the artistic, ethereal, dribbling magician, a symphony of grace and instinct. While their legions of fans endlessly debated who was greater, both legends, in their own ways, pushed the boundaries of what was thought possible in football. They made each other, and the game itself, unequivocally better, etching their names into history side by side. Years passed. The international trophy drought lingered. Doubts, whispers, and outright criticisms persisted. Would Messi ever truly win an international trophy that matched his club accolades? Then came the 2021 Copa America. In a tense, emotionally charged final against Brazil, his fiercest continental rivals, Messi finally, triumphantly lifted a major trophy with Argentina. But the ultimate prize still eluded him: the World Cup. That shimmering golden trophy was the only missing piece in his unparalleled career. In 2022, in Qatar, at 35 years old, many thought it was his last, perhaps only, chance. Every single game felt like a final. Every touch, every pass, every goal was a moment of destiny. He carried his team, inspiring them with his play, scoring crucial goals, delivering impossible assists, and displaying a fierce, vocal leadership. And then, the final, Argentina versus France, Lionel Messi versus Kylian Mbappé. It was a game for the ages, arguably the greatest World Cup final ever played. A dizzying roller coaster of emotions. Argentina taking a commanding 2-goal lead, only for France to stage a dramatic Mbappé-inspired comeback, forcing extra time, then more goals, and finally, the agonizing tension of a penalty shootout. Messi scored his penalty with characteristic calm, and when Gonzalo Montiel netted the winning penalty, the world watched as Lionel Messi, the quiet boy from Rosario, crumpled to the ground in a mix of tears, relief, and pure, unadulterated ecstasy. He had completed football. He had defied destiny. He had done the impossible. So when you see Lionel Messi now, remember not just the glittering trophies, the impossible goals, or the dazzling dribbles, but remember the quiet battles. Remember the boy who faced a life-altering illness, the shy teenager who left everything behind, the man who endured a nation's sometimes brutal criticism and navigated complex legal challenges. Remember the silent genius who, despite all adversity, let his feet do the talking, eventually captivating the entire planet. If you're watching this now and you're facing your own hidden battle, your own impossible dream, your own moments of self-doubt, let Messi's remarkable journey be your guide. Let it remind you of perseverance, often quietly, against overwhelming odds. Because sometimes the greatest stories are told not with booming words or loud declarations, but with the quiet magic of pure genius. And the most powerful victories are won not with shouts of defiance, but with unyielding resilience. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit that like button. It really helps. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below. And if you want more real stories about billionaires, scandals, and secrets they don't want you to know, make sure to subscribe and turn on the bell icon so you never miss what's coming next. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.